Good morning, my beautiful family. It's Erica with Not Your Average Life, and today we are talking about socks. This might be pretty boring for some people, but if you're into the outdoors, hiking, camping, hunting, anything like that, y'all know that some good socks are necessary. And there are so many options, and I have tested, I believe, most of the big brand names, so I want to just talk about those. Kane, can you stop eating dirt, please? I want to talk about the ones that I have tested and used today. One of my very best friends in the whole world, Anne, said that might be a good video to make. So, Anne, if you're watching, this is for you. And I love you, and you're an angel from God, okay? So, we are going to talk about hiking socks. We're not talking about everyday thin socks really. We're talking about I'll call them performance socks. So ones that you would want to wear working, hiking, in the snow, anything like that. These are going to be more like heavy duty socks, okay? So, let's start with the one that we all know about, Smart Wool. Now, I've used, let's see, let me get them all here because we've got a few to look at. I have used almost every offering from Smart Wool that they make, from their lightweight everyday casual socks all the way up to their, I believe they're called Expedition socks, which are their thickest and heaviest offering that they make. Not the biggest fan of their everyday socks. I feel that they wear out faster than Darn Tough, and the cool thing about Darn Tough is when you destroy them, if you send them back to Darn Tough, they will literally send you a brand new pair for free. They have a lifetime guarantee where no matter what, if you wear through them, they will send you a new pair, which I really like. Smart Wool does not have that. So their everyday socks I have blown through pretty quickly. They have some kind of cushioned everyday socks that are okay. I haven't really worn through those yet, but I feel that on your foot they're a little bit loose and fluffy feeling, and they kind of slide around. So if you're wearing specific types of footwear, they might kind of bunch up in your socks, or not in your socks, in your shoes, if that makes any sense. They're just a little loose fitting and airy for me. But as you move up the spectrum on their cushioning level, they start to get better and better. So one of my favorite socks from Smart Wool is the Hiker. So this is their hiking sock. It has a good amount of cushion and it's very thick, and I feel that once you get into this realm of sock from them, they start to fit a little better. So this is pretty snug. It's also pretty thick, and I've been using this particular pair since I was 18, I think, and I'm 27. Still haven't had to replace these. Now, granted, I have a lot of socks that I rotate through, but over a 10-year span, that's pretty cool that they haven't worn out yet. This is also their most popular offering. So the Hiker has a decent amount of cushion, kind of from the ankle down into your heel, all the way through, and then into your toes. And then this top part here thins out a little more, and it's kind of ribbed and flexible, so it's not constricting the top of your foot. You don't want something too tight where your blood flow and your blood circulation kind of just craps out, because then your feet will be cold. So this sock is constructed really well in terms of being economic for your body. So I really like this ribbing up here. The whole sock is pretty thick. It fits really nicely around your foot, your ankle, and the beginnings of your legs. These are kind of longer socks, but I really like the hiking socks from Smart Wool. I think that they're fantastic quality, very comfortable, and very warm. They do keep your feet dry. Moving up from that level, then you go into the Trek. So these are their trekking socks. These are way thicker, at least 2 times thicker than the Hiker. So these are for treks. I would figure with some boots on in the snow, or in very cold temperatures. These are very cushioned. So the whole sock is completely cushioned and soft and fluffy. Really thick. You do not have that ribbing up there. This is very much supposed to keep your whole foot like extremely warm and really trap that hot air in there. So the whole sock, the entirety of the sock is the same thickness, really thick and plushy, great cushion. The only thing when you move into a sock with this much cushion is you have to remember your shoe size, right? So like for me, what I have always done with my winter boots and anything that I'll be using in the snow or with thick socks, I size up a whole size. Because what happens is your foot is going to feel really squishy if you have thick socks, and a shoe that is true to size is going to feel squishy, and then you're also not giving yourself that air to create heat and trap that air in, right? Your feet will get either super, super cold or like sweaty and clammy and awful. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for socks of this cushion level, that you really do need to have a boot that you are sizing up at least a whole size. You have a lot of room to trap that hot air in and enough room to actually even fit this type of sock in there. These are very, very thick. Very thick. Also had these for 10 years. Incredible. These are great for when it's like 30 degrees, maybe even lower. With my bogs, I've had the same pair of like bogs for, oh my goodness, so many years. I have them on right now, actually. Let me see if I can show you guys. I've had these for years. These are my winter boots. I think this one is completely shredded because Romy got a hold of it one day. They still work just fine. But I'm usually an 8.5 in sneakers, and these are a 9, I think. And typically I'll do a whole size up, but with the bogs, they're kind of big anyway, big and clunky, so I only had to half size up. So these are a size 9, and I can fit any of my socks in there. They're very warm when you're wearing the right socks. And then the last and thickest offering from Smartwool is their Expedition sock. And I'm pretty sure I'm getting all of these names right. If I mess them up, I'm so sorry. I should have done research beforehand, but I'm like 99% sure I have these right. So the Expedition sock is the thickest sock from Smartwool. This is literally for like climbing Mount fucking Everest. These are the thickest socks I've ever used in my entire life. They're built the same as the Trek sock, but even thicker. And so you, again, no ribbing over the top, the same thickness all the way through. A different type of elastic up at the top here compared to the Trek. It's a little more like scrunchy, a little more tight fitting to really cinch up around your leg. Really nice, really warm, tons of cushion. These are extremely, extremely thick and heavy. So that's the heaviest offering from Smartwool, and very, very warm. The hikers, I think, go for like 17 something. You're getting up into $23.99 for the Expedition last I checked. And the Trek is like 20, 21. They get a little more expensive as you go, but these are just the thickest socks I own. Crazy, crazy warm. Let's talk about the biggest competitor to Smartwool, in my opinion, which is Darn Tough. I feel like those are the two biggest brands on the market for these types of socks. So Darn Tough is a little different. They do not make these socks that have like this fluffy cushioning type stuff on the inside. They're just knit completely different. Jeremy, you just texted me. If you're watching, I just heard your ringtone go off. So hi, and I love you. So Darn Tough is, in my opinion, a way tighter knit, not nearly as fluffy and cushiony, way tighter to the skin, way more durable and rugged, but with that, sometimes they can make your feet clammy. So it depends on the weather, really, and how your body works, because like, for example, Nicole wears Darn Tough and she's never had an issue. She can wear sneakers in the winter with Darn Tough socks, and her feet are warm. For me, I have to wear Darn Toughs on like very specific days because my feet will get like cold and clammy almost in them sometimes, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's like the knit pattern or the thickness. I have no idea. But like when Darn Tough socks are good, they're freaking great. And when they're bad, they're kind of awkward and weird. I do think that they're the best made sock on the market in terms of knitting. They're just so thick and tightly knit. They're made in Vermont, which I really like. Smart Wool, it depends. Some of their socks I think are made in China. I believe almost all of mine are made in the States, I'm pretty sure. But Darn Tough are really, really good socks, and I really like how they fit. That's the biggest thing for me with them, is they fit so well. Like a glove, really. They cinch right up to your feet. Super durable. They're awesome for like work boots and stuff because you don't get hot spots or blisters or anything because they just fit right to your feet and they're so rugged. Like, I've never blown through a pair of the classic Darn Tough socks, which are I don't know if they call them like a boot sock or a hiker or something, but they're just incredible. They're really, really well made. And like I said, I'm just kind of weird, I think. For some reason, these on occasion just make my feet cold and clammy, and I really don't know why. It could be the footwear, I'm not really sure, but they just they're great socks and they fit very, very close, and I would recommend these to anybody. Like, a couple good pairs of Darn Tough socks, you really can't beat it. Okay, right up there with the big boys is a brand that not a lot of people know about, but I've recently been testing some of their socks, and they're like a perfect in-between between Smart Wool and Darn Tough. So Minus 33 is a brand that makes all wool products, and some of them are made here in New Hampshire with me. Depends on the product, and it will say if it's made in the USA or overseas. I got one pair of their overseas socks and one pair of their New Hampshire socks just to put them head to head to see the difference, because usually there is a difference in quality and fit when companies have different headquarters all over the world, and this is the case for Minus 33. So we have the Heritage sock here, made up north in New Hampshire in like Auburn or something. So these are the New Hampshire socks. And then we have their much thicker offering. This is very much like the Trekker from Smart Wool, and these are made in Romania. Now, I got these both in a size medium, and I'm not sure if you can see, but I have the heels lined up here, and the Romanian socks, although they have been washed and dried the same exact way as the New Hampshire ones, they're way bigger. So I actually emailed Minus 33 and I was like, hey, just a heads up, your overseas socks, the quality seemed a little shot on them, and the sizing seems way off. These seem kind of long for a medium sock because I have your other medium sock, which look like baby socks next to it. So sizing seems a little bit off. Quality is okay, but not the best. So I really right now wouldn't recommend their super thick socks made from Romania. They just, like, the threads were kind of loose, very comfy and warm, and same thickness, like I said, as the Trekker, but I just feel that the quality of these maybe could be worked on, and I don't necessarily trust it yet. However, once we move into their New Hampshire made socks, these are one of the best pair of socks I've ever owned. So this is called their Heritage boot sock. I believe I paid like $17 for this pair. And these are a perfect in-between, giving me the best of both worlds from Smart Wool and Darn Tough. So we have a very thick, nice cushion, and kind of designed like the Smart Wool. We have like a little bit of a ribbing up here and less material on the top of the foot so that you have room to move and breathe. The rest of the sock is cushioned from the toe all the way through down into the heel, and there are actually different amounts of cushioning on this sock. I guess they put a lot of like science into this and put very specific amounts of cushioning on very specific like parts of the sock. They're very soft and plushy, but also with an extremely close knit like the Darn Tough. So they're the perfect in between, and surprisingly, these socks work the best for me. So they keep my feet dry. They fit like a glove. They're not clammy. They're close knit. They're very durable and rugged, and the price is right. Cushioning up here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of cushioning up here, and then it completely thins out in this area and then starts back up, and there's ribbing right around the ankle as well. Just seems like a lot of thought went into this sock. The quality is 100% there, and it's, like I said, a perfect in-between between those two big brands that we just talked about, and I feel that this one is the best one out of all three. However, like I said, you can only get like the Heritage boot sock at that quality. If you're looking for a warmer, more cushiony sock of that brand, I wouldn't recommend it. So you're kind of limited with minus 33 because you can only get the Heritage sock, which is like a medium cushion sock, and you can't really get much else from them right now. But totally worth it if you're looking for a like normal sock for cool fall days. Not going to be something that you're wearing in 30-degree weather, I will tell you that, unless you have a damn warm boot. But incredible sock right there. This is one that I very much look forward to using on days where it's not super cold. And then below that, I would say, is the brand, I believe it's pronounced Wigwam, I don't know, Wigwam. They're great. This is a pair that I've had since I was 18, I believe, as well. This is more cushioning than the Smartwool Hiker, but a little bit less than the Smartwool Trekker. So kind of in between those two, but made by Wigwam. Cheaper than the competitors that we've been talking about. Quality is there for the most part. I mean, these are so old, so this has like a little elastic right here that I should probably try to rip out. But yeah, no, these fit very well. I've always found them to be warm. They keep my feet dry. They have more cushioning than the Darn Tough, but less than a Smartwool. Very much, again, a good in-between if you're looking for like a little bit of a cheaper sock. They're very well made, though. These are great. Nice and long for cooler days. I really like the knitting on these as well. I feel like it's a great kind of like matchup between breathability and warmth and knit. They're great. They don't like blow my socks off per se. But they're good. They're really, really good, and I really like having them in like my little sock collection because they're just all around great socks. Now we're going to talk about a few brands that are a little like less known but still great. I don't know how many of you guys have an EMS around you, Eastern Mountain Sports, but you can order from them online as well. We have tons of them here in New Hampshire, like every couple towns there's an Eastern Mountain Sports, and they're basically everything you would expect from like a not knockoff brand of like Patagonia and Columbia and stuff, but basically, you know, those big brands like Patagonia and Columbia and the brands like that, the big winter sports brands that make all of the bougie but really good clothing, like outdoor research, stuff like that. EMS very much makes like the cheaper version of a lot of their stuff, and they're always running deals and everything too. So EMS is, I've got numerous ones around me. I've always shopped with them. EMS does make their own wool socks, and I have found them to be good but not great. Cheaper than the competitors again, but I do find that the fit is a little off. So like I wear a medium across the board in winter socks. I got a medium from EMS and they were way too big. So I have to get like a small in EMS socks. And I just feel that the sizing is a little off, but the quality is really not too bad. I've had these forever. These are, I would say these are a little more like camp socks. So like not something you would want to hike in. They're not like a performance sock. I feel like they don't fit well enough for a performance sock. They're much more comfy and warm. So something that you could definitely wear in a boot or maybe ice fishing, just not where you're walking around continuously, because I feel like they don't fit as close to the foot as they could. They're a little like roomy and spacious and loose. So they're super, super comfy and super warm, just not something that you want to be walking continuously in because I feel like that rubbing could cause blisters. But a great option for a cheaper price. They have all different thicknesses and weights and stuff like that. For the most part, like really well made. And again, just something that I wear kind of like around the house or in my bogs if I'm not traveling long distances, if I'm just doing chores around the house and stuff like that. A great option. And then I'm not sure how many of you guys have Bass Pro Shops around you, but that's another like big outdoor store that has kind of their own line of gear. And last I knew, the Bass Pro Shops brand was called Redhead. So they make outdoor gear, all different types of shirts, pants, socks, all that good stuff, even boots. And Redhead is their brand. And I have found these to be great. This is a pair that I've had for a very long time. This is, I would say, as thick as the Smartwool Expedition. Quality, not there, not the same as Smartwool, but kind of close. I just feel like the knitting is a little loose. Great sock, though. Tons of cushion, tons of warmth. I would say true to size. These are just like some thick, bulky socks. Much cheaper than the competitors. But, quality is pretty much there. Knitting is pretty good. They're just kind of a great, cheap beater sock if you don't want to spend like $24 on a pair of socks from Smartwool. So Bass Pro Shop, Redhead brand, great sock, been using them for years. Very much like the EMS in terms of like fit, like they're a little loose, a little bulky. You don't want to be relying on these for a huge trek through the mountains in the winter. I feel like they just move around a little bit and slide around on the foot, but anything around the house or not extravagant, you're good to go. And then the last one that we're going to talk about today is LL Bean socks. Lots of people know about LL Bean. It's a very old company from Maine, and they make stuff all over the world now, but it did originate as like one of the original outdoor gear companies that was all USA made. It used to be a great company. It's okay now. I think they have broadened so much. They're making stuff all over the world that the quality just is very spotty. But some of their smaller stuff that they can really focus on, like socks, great. So these are, I don't know what these are called actually, this particular pair, but it's comparable to, I would say, the Hiker from Smartwool, so at that cushion level. I think there might be like a hair more cushioning throughout the bottom of the sock, but I feel like it's all pretty much the same. They've got cool colors. Quality is pretty much there. As you can see, there's some pilling on these ones. As you get cheaper and cheaper and or overseas made, you'll kind of start to see pilling. I believe the Redhead socks are made overseas. I could be wrong, but yeah, the quality just kind of starts to dwindle a little bit, so you can get some pilling, but it doesn't really affect the fit or the feel of these socks. But these are great. Nice and warm, comfy, cozy, true to size. I wouldn't say a loose fit because they are true to size, but they're not fitting like a glove like Darn Tough. They just fit. They're not very cinched up, but they fit very well. So far, durable. I've had these for a couple years. Just another cozy, maybe cheaper option of sock. Not much to say about that. It kind of just reminds me of the EMS ones and the Redhead ones. So definitely cozy and warm, but nothing extravagant. So kind of like to conclude this video here, I feel like the ones that we talked about at the beginning of the video are probably your best bet if you're looking for like quality and performance. And if you're looking for something just like kind of cheap and warm to wear around the house, definitely LL Bean or Redhead or EMS. Great options. But really my favorites are the Smartwool, the Darn Tough, -33, and the Wigwam. Those are like definitely the best socks I've ever used, and I really like the variety that Smartwool offers, but I also really like the fit of the Darn Tough. And honestly, -33, moving forward, I'm gonna buy more of their boot heritage socks when I need them. I think they're really just, out of all of these, the best of all of the worlds combined. It's just unfortunate that you can't get their like heavier weight sock yet. I really wish that they made this here or that the quality was there. Because it would be great to just buy all of my different weight socks from one place, but I can't support this one quite yet. But yeah, out of all of them, if you're looking for just a typical warm but not performance winter sock, -33 is the way to go. I do not have an affiliation with any of these companies. They do not know who I am. I did not get any type of support or promotion from these, just a heads up, including the -33. They have literally no idea who I am. I just stumbled upon them when a friend of mine on Instagram started working with them, and I was like, okay, I'll use your code to get these to see if they're worth it, and they actually really are. I very much like these. So out of all of them, -33, definitely check out their heritage socks. I really like those. But yeah, Darn Tough and Smartwool, you just really can't beat them. And it's, sometimes there are things that are hyped up by name brands, and then sometimes the name brands really just are unbeatable. So yeah, that's my sock video. Hopefully you guys learned something through that. If not, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make some different content for people to research real life stuff, like good footwear, good socks, and good shoes. Like, everybody should be wearing those. Like, just put the money into it. It's really worth it. So I'm trying to make some content on that kind of stuff so that people can get their money's worth. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, maybe learned something. Check out all of the brands mentioned, but especially -33 and Smartwool and Darn Tough. I will see you guys on the next video. Go live your life. I love you guys so much. I will see you on the next video. Peace.